So this is our next video for members addressing the whole area of design responsibility, design risk. And as previously mentioned in other videos on this particular matter, all the information is contained in the CAF's practice note on design risk and building control regulations, which is available to members only on the contracting resource hub on the CIF website. And the practice note also contains a design matrix which members may find useful also. In this particular video, we want to look at certain factors that contractors can use to try and get more information around the design that they've been asked to take on and the contractual issues they should be aware of in that area. And really what I've referenced in a previous video is the importance that design responsibility is clearly defined and it's identified within the works requirements, and particularly around who's integrating and coordinating the design of systems, of linking systems together, who's doing that detailed design. And it should be clear so that you can measure it, whether you're being responsible for it, and then you can price it. But also, you need to ask yourself, have you the competence to do it? And that has to be that's really important, particularly for your professional indemnity insurance. And you should always consult with your broker to make sure that your policy covers any type of design responsibility that you've decided to take on. So what I want to do now is maybe also look at some tactics that you can use to try and glean as accurate amount of information as possible. So the first thing is, I mentioned the design matrix that we've developed for me. We would suggest to members and recommend to them that during the tendering stage that they should take out the design matrix and go and meet with the client, go and meet with the design team, go meet the design cert and everything, and sit down and go through and start to try and establish where design responsibility is lying. So you can get as much clarity as possible, early as possible in that design process, and clarify anything that's unclear. Now, obviously in different types of contract and public contracting, that might not be possible, but at least in the public contract, the schedule will list off the ancillary certificates that will be required from the contractor and their design or their specialists and subcontractors and so forth. The other thing to remember is that if that doesn't glean the necessary information, you also have an opportunity to get a similar meeting prior to you uploading your undertaking, under the undertaking by the builder and accepting your assignment as the assigned builder. And there's another opportunity to do it. But, you know, the really important thing here is understanding who's responsible for design integration and the coordination and sequencing of that. That's really, really important, because that is normally primary design done by design team. But if they're asking you to take it on, you need to ask yourself, am I coming to do it, and have I been given the opportunity to price it? Because you really need to understand the level of design development involved so that you can program it into your contract, into your construction project. And as well, you need to be very clear on is what is defined within your contract as practical completion. Does it include the fit out, or is it just the shell and core? Because that will affect, you know, you're getting your certificate of compliance on completion, particularly if you need a DAC cert, or if you need a fire certificate, if the fit out needs to be done to achieve that. You just know the difference between the contractual obligations and the building control regulations. And again, the practice note will set that out clearly. The other useful tool in itself is building control. It has a number of factors in it which can help glean information that you will need. And the first thing is the commencement notice. The design certifier will submit their design certificates, but they will have relied on a number of different types of certificates like the SD, the ED, the AD and the BD. So it's a good opportunity for the contractor to check the commencement notice, check the information there to glean more and more information. And as previously stated, it is a statutory obligation for the design certifier to list off what items are incomplete in terms of design. So it's another opportunity for the contractor to find out what's going on, where are the risks here, and who's doing what. And again, we encourage those meetings, engagements at the earliest possible. And remember, you've got an opportunity in the preliminary inspection plan to have a look at what ancillary certs may be required or what design you might need. And again, before getting that meeting before uploading the undertaking by the builder. The other area that will be very useful is the whole revision of ARM 4 to ARM 5. There will be a new section in there related to contractor design development, and it sets out clearly what is required to be included in the bill to allow the contractor to price and measure any design responsibility or any design development that they're being asked to do. And that's something that I think members should be very aware of. The other thing is that understand the contractual mechanisms related to variations and omissions and so forth. Because if there is a design element introduced post the award of contract, it may well be a change order, and you should understand the notice requirements that are required under there. Finally, the other factor that members should be conscious of is the legal term known as contra pro varentum. It's important. It means that the drafter of a contract cannot benefit for an ambiguity, but it must be clear that there is an ambiguity in the contract. And if there's something very unclear around, and particularly in a traditional design by the employer contract, this is a concept that may be useful in dealing with your client and addressing any issues arising from disputes over who is responsible for what. Again, all this information can be found in the CAF's practice note on design risk and building control regulations. All available on the Contracting Resource Hub on the CAF website.